Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So let's get into this. It's going to be, I'm calling it a collective bonus, but that's just because the video that I posted early this morning, which, by the way, happy Wednesday, but the video that I posted this morning was really more for the singles storyline, which I try to do singles stories on Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. But it was very much like collective singles. So this one is not for singles. This is just whatever the message is that needs to come out for the collective. We have the chalice, fulfillment. Okay, so we know right out of the gate that we have got somebody who needs to either start looking at what would fill their cup, or the topic right now is love, or the topic is about, personal fulfillment, either looking at the glass half empty or half full, or looking at, my cup runneth over. We have cloak, concealment. Somebody is hiding what they actually want. This is somebody who, look, I'm going to say it because this is what comes in my mind. I feel as if there is a person who is attracted to another individual, but they are not saying it. I feel like there's a person that is like, oh man, I would like them to fill up my cup, but I have to hide those emotions. I have to hide that, or I'm hiding away from my need, my desire, the love that I have, and I'm trying to hide that. I don't understand why somebody would be hiding it. Because when we hide the stuff that we want, I mean, it's a pretty good way to ensure that we're not going to get it, right? Hang on, let me change decks here. Sorry, I've got quite the little messy stack going on around here. Okay, tell me about this fulfillment card first. Seven of Swords. So we do have somebody lying, hiding, even when it comes to their heart. This could be a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. Seven of Pentacles. Sevens are divine numbers. They've been hiding this for a really long time, and I think that this burden is too heavy to carry anymore. I don't think that they're going to be able to keep pretending or keep lying. Is it Travis Tritt? And I can't keep pretending I don't love you anymore. It's a country song. We got the Five of Cups and we got the Three of Pentacles in the reverse. I would say that's a very fair, such a great piece of music. I'm sorry, it's still playing through my head and I haven't heard it in so long, and I'm gonna have to go listen to it. I see a masculine here who is absolutely devastated, and they have been hiding how they felt. They've been in love with somebody for a very long time, and they've been pretending that they weren't in love. And at this point, it's the reason they've been pretending like they weren't in love is because they're obviously not interacting with this person. But we have a masculine who is like, they can't hide it anymore. They can't hide it from themselves anymore. Tell me about that cloak, the concealment card. Six of Swords, Knight of Pentacles. They thought it would get easier. Press it down, push it down, pretend it doesn't hurt. Just move on from it. It'll get better. It'll just take a long time. But they were very bullheaded too. This person kept insisting, I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on. And I'll just hide my feelings from myself, and then myself will forget how I feel. Why are you even apart from somebody, though, that you really actually wish that you weren't apart from? Knight of Swords in the reverse. They could have turned this thing around a long time ago, and I think that they waited, and then it was like, it's too late now. It's too late now. Feminine energy, gentleness, nurturing, mothering. They had somebody in their life that was really like, I'm hearing that they were a better man or woman when they were with this person. But I feel as if maybe they wanted this feminine to, welcome them back in. I don't know if this is somebody who actually wanted to have a baby with her, but she's preggers here. God, they were so in love with her. They are so in love with her. And this person is like drenched in this feeling for her. But they could have turned this thing around, but then they didn't. And then it's like, now it's too late. I couldn't possibly, turn this thing around and go back, even though that's what they still want to do. So you've been trying to hide how much you wish that this were working out differently, but it's too heavy of a burden now. I kind of feel like somebody's just crashing at this moment. King of Wands, Seven of Wands, again with that seven. So it's interesting because it's on one hand, seven being a divine number, also another number of change, says this actually is positive, even though he's big time bummed out, even though all the lies have gotten too heavy. We see the, little bushels of apples there are too heavy. We see that he can't keep doing this. He can't keep pretending that he's just moving on and everything's fine and he'll forget about her at some point in time. He's never going to forget about her. Please remember, this could be same-sex couple, reverse gender roles. I don't read for genders, but he will never forget about her. In fact, he is more in love with her than he was before. And I also kind of think that, we can hide lots of stuff, but at some point, who we really are comes out, right? We can hide stuff from ourselves, but one day, the truth is always going to find us because it's who we actually are. So no matter how much you try to pretend otherwise, how you actually feel on the inside. And he's actually, I would argue, more aware now, almost like, damn my stubborn heart, why can't I just stop loving her? And now instead I'm forced to face it. My stubborn heart will not stop loving her. Like, that's the best way I could say that. That's the energy he's giving right now. Six of Swords sideways. I didn't move on from her, not one little step. I feel like he remembers everything. He remembers every detail about her, every single, like the little details, the way somebody sneezes, the sound of their sneeze, like the article of clothing that everybody has, like their favorite, like whatever little rubby blanket or their favorite little robe or something when it's cold, and it's like even those little details are like burned into his memory. He remembers everything. He didn't move on at all. Because how do you move on when in your heart you found where your home is, you found your person, you found where you belong, you found the individual that you, again, was something about like, I wanted to have kids with her and grow old with her. I wanted to get a family dog with her. It's so weird because everything that he wanted, he actually wants it more now than he did before, which is crazy because what he's been doing all this time, and I say all this time, so I don't know if it really has been a long time or not, but he's been acting like he can forget this, he can move on from this. And instead, what it's done is it's like a boomerang. It's brought him full back to where he began, but with an increased amount of like energetic awareness that this is where I need to be. To a certain extent, this is a relief for him to finally like no longer be cloaking it. It's like, okay, shit, I love her. I stayed in love with her. I was in love with her. I didn't get over her. I didn't move on from her. I loved her. I love her even more now. Honestly, it's a relief to finally be able to say, well, I know that it wasn't a passing fancy. There's something here about a sense of relief going, at least I know where I stand. At least I know how I actually feel. I'm going to take the pressure off and just say, now I may have to understand that if I hurt her and she's had to heal from this botched situation, that's something I have to face. And oh my God, I hope I didn't hurt her. I have a ton of regret about if I caused her grief, because we have her on this Nine of Wands card. But I will still say, for his own sense of like sanity, it's almost a relief to say, I've been running from this. And how do you run from what you already know is true inside of you? Yet I feel like he's been making himself freaking miserable, trying to conceal and hide how he actually feels. And it's just not worth it anymore. So it's definitely like this catharsis of, finally, I'm pulling off the cloak. Finally, I'm going to go ahead and admit what I know. I keep thinking somebody has a robe or a hoodie or something like that. And it's like symbolic that they're, like uncovering, taking down the hood or something on their, I mean, granted, this is like one of those Renaissance style, velvet, almost like a little Red Riding Hood, cloak or a wizard's cloak here. But we've got a Three of Pentacles. Okay, so there's only one thing he can do now. And I feel like it may take him 3 days to do it, but sit down and write. Start writing to her. Write down what you need to say. Write down exactly what the truth of it is. You can't let her go. You never got over her. There wasn't ever a time when you weren't in love with her. Yeah, probably full disclosure on how stressed out you've been for such a long freaking time. Maybe even how stressed out you are sitting here writing this letter. I feel like he's going to write this like late into the night. Queen of Cups. He has a lot of things to say to her, both about his stress level in reaching out to her, but also the amount of like love, or maybe even like what he realized he fell in love with her for. He may talk a lot about that, about, describing her as a Queen of Cups. I mean, obviously what he craves is that divine feminine energy. I feel like she must have been really soft with him, really like unconditionally loving with him, really warm with him. He certainly has beautiful memories of her. She may also have a really nice voice. Sometimes the Queen of Cups, they have like a melodic voice. For me, anyway, that's how I I bear in mind I'm a fictional storyteller, and I interpret things and add my own mixtures as I envision what characters are. But for me, Queen of Cups have the most melodic voice. We have the Sun in the reverse. I almost think that what he has to sit down and write to her is, and really like pour his heart into this, right? He's sitting here with that quill pen by candlelight, and he's pouring it all out. Everything from his stress to how he really feels about her, which is extremely respectful, but then also how lonely it's been without her, with that sun in the reverse. Like I don't even know if he smiled in a really long time since last he spoke with her. I kind of think he's been like in kind of like purgatory, or like in a little personalized hell. Justice card. And he may actually say up front, and I realize it kind of served me right. Served me right to be so freaking unhappy all this time because I walked away from somebody. Why did you walk away from her? Because it sounds like it was you who walked away from her. Tower. I, for him, it was like this huge collapse. I don't know if his life went up in smoke or something else in his world went belly up. God, Two of Cups in the reverse. He decided she doesn't love me. That's it. This isn't a special connection. I'm gone. I'm out. Why? The shadow. That's the devil. Sideways. I don't know. Did these two have a fight? And then he was like, okay, that's it. Now I know she's not the person for me. And he like decided. I think he made this, even though I think he knew it was incorrect, even at the time, when the devil comes in, here comes the boogeyman, right? And he's freaking out. And she's over here like, whoa, what the hell's going on with you? I feel like he experienced a meltdown moment because he went into fear mode, because they either had an argument and he couldn't handle it. If she's upset with me, then I know it means she'll leave me. So let me just go ahead and end it right now. We had an argument. She got upset with me. That's it. And he made this like way over the top, outrageously like, oh, it's over. It's over. I just know it. She's not, this isn't special. She's not my Two of Cups, and it's just over. But it was like this weird surge of like, here comes the scary boogeyman coming in. I really think maybe he was supercharged or something by having any kind of conflict with her, and it just freaked him out. And his reaction was pretend I don't want this and run from it and keep running and keep pretending it doesn't matter. This didn't matter. I didn't miss out on anything. We had a fight. She doesn't want to be with me anyway. But I think he took it like so crazy. Yeah, he knows that. He knows that. With the Ace of Swords there, this is, and with the guide telling him, and look at how barren the rest of this is. It's like walking away from her was just like the most empty feeling ever. But he just, I think he panicked. He wanted to walk away from her to avoid her walking away from him after a fight, is what this says. Very, it's like what he feared most is not having her in his life. So he told himself, she's not supposed to be in my life. This doesn't matter. And I'm out. That's a pretty big letter to have to write. He may take, like I said, I don't know, like 3 days or 3 nights to write this, or maybe it's like 3 hours to write this. I feel like it's very emotional. But with that Four of Wands, I do feel like this is him spilling every detail about, like, I mean, he thought that this was the best match ever. And I think he's acknowledging, like, we were so good together. Like, you showed me you wanted to be with me, and I wanted to be with you. That never actually changed, but I just absolutely panicked and split and tried to tell myself that this didn't matter at all, because it was so scary to think of having the most important person in my life and then getting a taste of what a breakup would be. And it's like he was falling so hard for her that then to experience any kind of conflict and then have to face, oh my God, if we had a big enough conflict where it's over, how am I going to handle this? And I just think that he just split. Yeah, Eight of Wands in the reverse. This was not something, I think he was very emotional about this too, and didn't know how to handle those emotions. This is like, I wanted to shut everything down, shut down the fear that it instilled in me, shut down the feeling of loss that I imagined I was going to have. So I just shut everything down and didn't want to move forward. But here's the thing, you shut things down, you don't want to move forward. He didn't move forward. He didn't move anywhere. He's been in the same place all this time, just trying to pretend that he's okay and doesn't miss her, when that's the exact reverse. Good for him for finally writing this letter. But let me just get one last message. You are going to make sure that this letter gets to her, I assume. Five of Cups. You know what? It may come in at just the right time, because I feel like this was a very sad thing for her to go through as well. With that Five of Cups, he caused her a lot of grief. This is him owning all of it with that King of Swords. So this is the King of Swords pouring every piece of his thoughts, every bit of truth into a letter for her. Strong Libra, Gemini, Aquarius for sure on that. But he also came across as a King of Wands, just realizing he's always been in love with her. We had Libra in here, we had Leo in here, and of course, you know, we had Aries in here and Sag. But this is him saying it all. He's not going to fail to get this letter to her either, because this is him having to go ahead and face it. And it's actually a relief for him to see it for what it is now. None of this pain is going away, and it's time to actually deal with it. Those sevens, we had 3 sevens in this. That's why it's time. All right, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Bye.